Hey Canucks fans, welcome to Clay's Canucks commentary for Friday, March the 1st. I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter, I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. Gonna tackle three things today. Gonna recap last night's game, gonna talk about Demko and Markstrom, gonna talk about what Canucks fans can look forward to for the rest of the season. But before I do all that, I want to give a quick shout out, quick mention, quick affirmation to my late father Larry and my mom who's still alive. It's their 50th wedding anniversary today. They were married on March the 1st, 1969. 5 years later, blessed with an awesome son. That's me. 2 years after that, blessed with another awesome son. That's Jason. So many of you know that my dad passed away in 2004 at Burnaby Mountain Golf Course. Dad, we love you. We miss you. And my dad was the one who got me hooked on the Canucks 44 years ago. So gonna hang out with my mom tonight, go out for dinner, and spend some good family time. So Dad, love you and I miss you. All right, let's talk about last night's Canucks game. 5-2, a loss to the Arizona Coyotes. And I hate to say it, even as the founder of the GLCPC, but it's gonna be very difficult, not impossible, but very difficult for the Canucks to make the postseason. They had two games where they could have got 4 points themselves and denied their opponents from getting 2 points. That's Colorado Wednesday night and Arizona last night. But instead, the Canucks only get 1 point out of those two games. Meanwhile, the other two teams get their full 2 points. So now they're chasing Arizona, Chicago, Colorado, Minnesota, Dallas. All these teams going to be very tough for the Vancouver Canucks to squeak in. Last night, Brad Richardson, the former Canuck, scored 4 goals. 4 of the 5 goals were for Brad Richardson. And while you're happy for him overall, like if you liked him when he was here, you weren't happy that happened against the Canucks. So let's talk about the Canucks. Thatcher Demko, not particularly awesome in net. Not all the goals were his fault. I'd say if you look at the 5 goals, the first goal he could have maybe stopped on Richardson's breakaway right after the Canucks power play ended. Second one was, I think, definitely Demko's fault in that it went off his pad. Richardson's goal from the side of the net. Then the third, fourth, and fifth, they're tricky. They're a combination of one-timers or cross-ice passes, things where he could have, maybe come up with a big save on one of the 3 of them, but I don't think you can fault him necessarily individually on each of the 3 goals when you look at them individually, but, you'd like him to make a save there. And what it comes down to me was, would Jacob Markstrom have allowed 5 goals last night? Would he have allowed Brad Richardson to score 4 goals on him? I lean towards the answer of no, but it's easy for me to say now. And like I said, I think 3 of the 5 goals weren't Demko's fault. I think though, he would have liked to have definitely the second one back and maybe the first one back. Other Canucks performances to note, Antoine Roussel with a goal, continuing his strong play. Alex Biega assisting on that goal. That was really nice. And then the first goal for the Canucks, a combination of the 2 new guys. Ryan Spooner, a beautiful pass to Tanner Pearson as he jumped off the bench, and a nice shot past Darcy Kemper for a goal for Tanner Pearson. So it's nice to see the 2 new guys combine on that. It was nice to see Biega and Roussel continue their good play, at least from a points perspective. But that means I'm not mentioning Horvat, Besser, not mentioning Pettersson. Now for the big 3, Horvat and Besser in particular had a brutal game. They were -4. And given that one of the goals, the third Coyotes goal was on a 5-on-3, so that doesn't count in the plus-minus. That means Horvat and Besser were on the ice for all 4 of the Arizona Coyotes, regular even strength goals. Not a good look. Horvat's defensive game has been up and down, and a lot of Besser's defensive game hasn't been great, especially his lack of a back check on one of the Coyotes goals. Actually, I messed up. The lack of back check was on the Coyotes' 3rd goal. The 5-on-3 power play goal was actually the Coyotes' 4th goal, now that I verbalized it, now that I mentioned it. But regardless, Horvat and Besser, poor game with both at a -4. From a shots perspective, Besser did have 6 shots on net. Alex Biega and Tyler Mott each had 5 shots on net. And then Pettersson only had 1 shot on net. And what concerns me for a 3rd straight game is I think Pettersson has blocked more shots than he has shots on goal. He blocked 2 shots last night, which speaks to his good defensive awareness and his good effort level, but he's not getting any shots on net, and that is concerning for our best sniper. And when you look at time on ice, the return of Alex Edler made a big difference on the blue line in that Edler played 23 minutes. One of Hutton or Stetcher, I think it was Hutton, played 23, or maybe it was one of the other, and the other one only had to play 21 as opposed to 26, 28, 30 minutes. So it's amazing how the return of your number 1 defenseman spread out the minutes. So, like I said, Edler had 23, everyone else had between 23, and the low man, I think it was Sautner, he still had 13 or 14 minutes, so it's not like it was 8 or 9 or 10 or like that. Same with the forwards, really spread out, maybe it's because the Canucks weren't really in the game from the second period on, but they, everyone, Adam Gaudette was a low man with 12:50, so that's still 13 minutes. And then I think it was Horvat or one of the guys only had 17 minutes. So no one playing 21, 22, 24 minutes, crazy amount of minutes. Everyone was between 13 and 17 minutes in the forwards, and that's likely because it was a back-to-back, the second game of a back-to-back. So overall, a tough loss. Now we're going to have to look for positives in another way for the rest of this season. So let's move on from the game. I put up 2 poll questions yesterday. I was equally interested in both. The first one was, do you agree with the decision to start Thatcher Demko? And within 2 minutes, it was 100%. There was like 25 votes to 0. So then I took that down and I said this: what are you more excited about, Demko's potential or Jacob Markstrom's strong play? And up until the game, it was about 2/3 to 1/3, about 66% to 34% in favor of Demko's potential over Markstrom's strong play. And it's funny, since the game, since the 5-2 loss, it has now closed a little bit. So now, as I record this, over 300 votes, it's at 55% still for Demko's potential and 45% for Markstrom's strong play. So not a big split, 55 to 45 in 300 votes. I think we'd all agree Jacob Markstrom has played excellent since December, January, February, firmly establishing himself as a #1 goaltender. He's got 1 year left on his contract, so it'll be very interesting to see what he's going to get, what the Canucks are going to do with him. Are they going to extend him this summer? Are they going to wait until the next year to make sure that this year wasn't a fluke? What kind of message does that send to Thatcher Demko? To Jacob Markstrom. So a lot of things to think about, a lot of things to consider. Would love to hear your comments down below as to what you think they should do with Jacob Markstrom and his contract situation. And then Demko, 55% of you still saying you are excited in his potential. Last night was his first loss for the Canucks. He's only played 3 games, so now he's 3-1 career for the Canucks. But yeah, like I said, I've said before, the Canucks have very high hopes for him, and I don't think, I'm not worried about Demko because of last night. Yeah, maybe like the first goal back and definitely the second goal back, but like I said, the other 3 weren't really his fault. So, it'd be a good test of his resolve to see how he does going forward. And with the Canucks have, a big truck there. With the Canucks about 16, 17 games left, how many of those games will Demko get now that the Canucks likely won't make the playoffs? Will be a 2/3, 1/3 split as opposed to Markstrom running 80-85% of the games. So that's another thing to think of. And lastly, 2 stories to look forward to for the last 5 weeks of the season. I put a poll question here. I said, what are you most looking forward to, or what's going to be the biggest Canucks story over the last 5 weeks of the season? And I put 2 up there. I didn't put the draft or trades or whatever, or contracts. I put 2 things. I said, is it Pettersson's race for the Calder Trophy, or is it the debut of Quinn Hughes? Could be as early as the end of next week or 2 weeks from now. Got over 250 votes on this one, and right now there's a slight lead for Quinn Hughes. It's 57% for Quinn Hughes' debut, 43% for Elias Pettersson's chase for the Calder Trophy. And that's not a knock on Pettersson, and maybe it's a bit tempered because his performance has slowed down a little bit. I'm still not worried about Dahlin, about Bennington taking the Calder Trophy from him. I still think Pettersson, as long as he doesn't completely donk the rest of the season and he still gets, points in 2/3 of, or 75% of the games going forward, I still think it's Pettersson's trophy to lose. But it's interesting to think about because there's a lot of excitement over Quinn Hughes. I was surprised this year how much excitement there was about Elias Pettersson overshadowing the excitement from Brock Besser last season. And then we could see the exact same thing next year. Quinn Hughes comes in at the end of the season and especially plays well at the start of next season, brings our power play to life. It'll be funny how, I won't say Pettersson will be shunned to the background, but how, Canucks fans like the new shiny toy, so to speak. So, it was Besser 2 years ago, last year is Pettersson this year, and it will be Quinn Hughes next year. And it's really interesting this last month of the season dynamic, because unfortunately, because the Canucks haven't made the playoffs in 5 years, we're talking, or in 4 years, we've talking about this a lot. What can we look forward to in the last month of the season? And 2 years ago, it was definitely Brock Besser's debut, right? The way he came into the league. And then last year, it was Besser's, race for the Calder Trophy until he got hurt in early March. And then Matthew Barzal ran away with it. So instead of Besser's race for the Calder Trophy, it then became the Sedin's swan song, their retirement and their last home games and the last away games. And there's a lot of excitement around that, a lot of goodwill around that, helping fans forget about the forgettable season otherwise. So 2 years ago is Besser's debut. Last year, it started off as Besser's rookie campaign, but then turned into the Sedin's retirement. And then this year, I think it'll be a mix again. It'll be Pettersson's rookie campaign, although unlike Besser, the favorite for the Calder, and then it'll be I can't even say it, the debut of Quinn Hughes for the last few weeks of the season. So 2 things to keep an eye on, 2 things to get excited about. I'm interested to see what you are most excited about. So Canucks fans, a lot to talk about. I went through a lot today. I want to nail all 3 of those topics. So leave a comment below. I'd love to read and react and reply as best as I can, as always. You can talk about last night's game, Demko's performance, Brad Richardson, Brock Besser, Horvat, Pettersson. Are they tired? Are you worried? Talk about last night's game. You can talk about the Demko-Markstrom dynamic. How much do you expect Demko to play? Was any of it his fault last night? Do you still have high hopes for him? And then you can certainly talk about what you're looking forward to. What are you going to look forward to for the last few weeks of the season? Are you equally as excited for, or are you in favor of one or the other? Pettersson's race for the Calder Trophy, or the inevitable debut of Quinn Hughes on the blue line? Leave a comment below. I love to read, react, and reply. Subscribe if you like to. Like this video if you like to. Canucks are off games for a couple days, and then on Sunday they're in Vegas. Well, they flew to Vegas last night already, but on Sunday they play in Vegas against a team that they have trouble beating, and that's the Vegas Golden Knights. And I'll have to connect with Louie and see if we do anything fun from a video or haiku challenge perspective, and we'll see, and we'll go from there. All right, Canucks fans, have a great day. God bless, and go Canucks, go.